Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are safe and taking a good care of your health. So, this video is for the students of class 9th, subject science, chapter number 4, that is structure of an atom. In this video, I will be taking the solutions of assignment number 1. So, let's start. Question number 1 was, what is a vector quantity? This question I discussed when I was taking chapter number 8, that is motion. There I discussed scalar quantity and vector quantity. So what is a vector quantity? The quantity which has magnitude, direction, and it also follows vector laws of addition. Okay, when three conditions are fulfilled, magnitude, direction and vector laws of addition, so it is a vector quantity. And what was scalar quantity? The quantity which has magnitude and direction. That was scalar quantity. Clear, students? Question number 2 was, write Coulomb's law. So what is the formula for Coulomb's law? F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square, where F is force of attraction or repulsion between the two stationary point charges. Stationary means rest. Okay. Suppose these are the 2 point charges Q1 and Q2. So the force of attraction or repulsion which is acting between these two stationary point charges, that F is force, and Q1 is the first charge, Q2 is the second charge, and what is R? R is the distance between these two charges, Q1 and Q2. And K, it is the proportionality constant, that is Coulomb's constant. Clear, students? So this is the formula for Coulomb's law. Question number 3 is, why did Rutherford select a gold foil in his alpha scattering experiment? It was because the density of the gold atom, it is high. Okay, there was a gold foil. So these were the gold atoms. So the density of this gold atom, it was very high. What is the formula of density? Mass upon volume. So what we can say in another words, that mass of the gold atom was maximum as compared to the other atoms. So that's why Rutherford selected a gold foil for his alpha scattering experiment. Clear, students? Coming to next question, question number 4. In what way is the Rutherford's atomic model different from that of Thomson's atomic model? Okay, in this question, you have to write the postulates of Rutherford's model and the postulates of Thomson's model. So, the postulates of Thomson's model are, number 1, an atom consists of a positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. Number 2, the negative and the positive charges, they are equal in magnitude. So, as a result, the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So this was about Thomson's atomic model. For Rutherford's atomic model, what were the postulates? Number 1, most of the alpha particles passed straight to the gold foil. Number 2, some of the alpha particles, they were deflected by small angles. Number 3, 1 out of every 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. So these were the postulates of Rutherford's atomic model. Coming to question number 5. In Rutherford's model of an atom, fast-moving alpha particles, they were made to fall on a thin gold foil. State two properties of alpha particles. So you have to give the two properties of alpha particles. Number 1, the alpha particles are doubly charged helium nuclei having a mass number 4u. Number 2, the alpha particles, they are basically positively charged particles. Okay, so these are the two properties of alpha particles. Coming to question number 6. Justify the statement, most of the space inside the atom is empty. Answer, this can be justified by Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. In that experiment, what happened? The first observation was most of the alpha particles, they passed straight through the gold foil without getting deflected. So what does it indicate? It indicates that most of the space inside the atom is empty. Okay, you have to explain the first observation of alpha scattering experiment, which means that most of the space inside the atom is empty. Coming to question number 7. What are the postulates of Bohr's model of an atom? Answer, the postulates of Bohr's model of an atom are: number 1, only certain spatial orbits known as discrete orbits of electrons are allowed inside the atom. Number 2, while revolving in these discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy. Radiate means release. So this was the answer of question number 7th. Coming to question number 8. Write down the electronic distribution of chlorine. What is chlorine? The symbol is capital C, small l. So you have to write the electronic distribution. For this, we should know the atomic number of chlorine. So what is the atomic number? The atomic number of chlorine is 17. So write down the electronic distribution now. In the K shell, that is first shell, it will be 2. In the second shell, it will be 8. And in the third shell, it will be 7. So 2, 8, 7. You can add them. You will get total 17. So this is the electronic distribution of chlorine. Coming to question number 9. An element has atomic number 15 and mass number 31. First is, find the number of electrons present in the atom of this element. So you have to calculate the number of electrons. You know atomic number 15. So what is atomic number? Atomic number is basically number of protons. And in an atom, number of protons is equal to number of electrons. So the atomic number is equal to number of protons. That is also equal to number of electrons in case of atom. So the answer is 15. Atomic number 15, number of protons 15, number of electrons also 15. Clear, students? Coming to second part, how are these electrons distributed in various shells? Now you know the atomic number, that is 15. So you have to write the electronic configuration or electronic distribution. So what will be the electronic distribution of atomic number 15? It will be 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, and M in the third shell. So 2, 8, 5. You can add them. Total it will be 15. So this is question number 9th. Moving ahead to question number 10. Write down the electronic configuration of aluminium 3 positive and oxygen di negative. So let us take the first case, that is aluminium 3 positive. First of all, write down the electronic configuration of only aluminium atom. What is the atomic number of aluminium atom? It is 13. So electronic distribution will be 2, 8, 3. It will be for aluminium atom only. Okay. Now you have to write the electronic distribution of aluminium ion, means Al3 positive. What does it mean? 3 plus. It means 3 electrons are loose. Okay, the 3 electrons have been loosened up. So the 3 electrons have been loosened up. So what will be the electronic configuration of Al3 positive ion? It will be 2, 8. Okay. 2 electrons in the first shell, 8 electrons in the second shell. That will be for aluminium ion. Same for the second part, oxygen di negative. So first of all, write down the electronic distribution of oxygen. What is the atomic number of oxygen? It is 8. So what will be the electronic distribution? 2 and 6. That will be for oxygen atom. Now you have to write for oxygen ion. Means minus 2 means 2 electrons have been gained. Minus means gain. So when the 2 electrons have been gained, so the outermost shell will get 2 electrons. So it will be 2 and 8. The electronic distribution of oxygen ion is 2, 8. Okay, 2 in the first shell K and 8 in the second shell, that is L. So this was question number 10th. Question number 11th is, an element A has 2 electrons in the outermost shell, M shell. The M shell is outermost. So what is the first shell? K, second shell L, third shell M. Now 2 electrons are present in M shell. So 2 electrons in M. Now you know the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in K, that will be 2. And in L it will be 8. So the first part is calculate the atomic number of this element A. So what will be the atomic number? You know the electronic distribution now? 2, 8, 2. So what is the atomic number? 2 plus 8 plus 2. That will be 12. So atomic number is 12. Clear? Now second part is find out the valency. We have to find out the valency. Now see, 2 electrons are present in outermost shell. So what will be the valency? In order to achieve the stable configuration, the 2 electrons it will lose. So valency is 2. Atomic number 12, valency 2. So this was question number 11th. Coming to question number 12th. Question number 12th is, if the atom of an element contains 3 electrons in the third shell. Okay, 3 electrons, they are present in third shell. So first is K, second is L, third is M. 3 electrons in the M shell. Okay, so you have to write the electronic configuration of the atom. So if you know the 3 electrons are present in M shell, now you also know that the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in K shell, that is 2. And in the L shell, that is second shell, it is 8. So first is electronic configuration. You have written the electronic configuration, that is 2, 8, 3. Now second part is calculate the atomic number. Atomic number is easy. Just add them. 2 plus 8 plus 3. That will be 13. 13 is the atomic number. Now third part is number of protons. You know that atomic number is equal to number of protons. So the number of protons, they are also 13. And fourth is valency. For valency, you know the electronic distribution. So calculate the valency. In order to achieve the stable configuration, the 3 electrons it will lose. So valency is 3. And the last part is name the element. You have to name the element. Atomic number is 13. So what is the element with atomic number 13? It is aluminium. Symbol is capital A, small l. Clear? So this was question number 12th. So that's all about the solutions of assignment number 1. I hope you all are clear with each and every question. So that's it. Thank you.